Good evening, and welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting of January 7th, 2014. Happy New Year, everyone. I hope this coming year is good for everyone. We have somewhat of a short agenda this evening, but the first item is going to be the police dispatch reconfiguration project. And tonight we have the police chief, Peter McGowan, to speak of that. Welcome, chief. You have the floor.
Happy New Year to you all. I'm here before you to discuss and present the, rediscuss and represent the dispatch renovation project. It was put together several years ago, and it's come back for discussion. If you remember, it was on the schedule for last year, and I asked to defer it for a year to make sure I had a good handle on the building's needs and assess everything that the project was looking to do and address. So we worked with the architect, and we've refreshed the numbers, and I'm comfortable coming before the board and asking for its endorsement for this project to make sure that dispatch is brought up to address the myriad of concerns that we have for safety and privacy and security for both police, fire, and dispatch, ambulance dispatch centers.
Okay. Now we have, I was given this evening a somewhat of an estimate of costs. And they total $423,100. Is that correct?
Correct. There's an alternate below.
Okay, the alternate, okay. I know there's some general discussion in the alternate and specifically on where the temporary placement of dispatches.
Yes, the original project called to have dispatch relocated to a downstairs meeting room where we share with the police, the fire department downstairs. There's no real access from the front of the building. You'd have to go around the back of the building and down an alley between the ladder bay and the back of our garage down an alley. In addition to moving it downstairs and not being able to find it, and the relocation issues and the traffic issues in and out, I came up with an alternative idea, and we ran it by the architect, and he agreed that it could definitely work. My suggestion and the temporary dispatch relocation would be out to one of the garages. We'd remove the vehicles from the garage, and we would turn the right side garage, the closest to Walpole Street. We'd lift the door up, put a temporary wall in with the door, and make one stall the dispatch area. So everything would be relocated up. We've spent years and years educating the public to come to the front of the station because the fire department's a call department. If you need help, you come to the front door. All they'll do, instead of walking in the main door we have now, they'll continue down the walkway and go in a door at the garage bay. We have, on average, between 18 and 22 walk-ins a day, not for anything other than, sometimes we have walk-in medical, sometimes we have people picking up the key for the Carroll building, sometimes we have people picking up reports. We have walk-ins to report anything from crashes to neighbor disturbances to firearms permits to almost any reason. So those 20 people plus whatever else comes in during the day would just be moved over 30 feet to the garage, and all our business would be transacted there.
Is there an estimated time of construction?
Yes, we talked about that as well. Where the garage is not super efficiently heated, we thought we would start the project, put it out for bid in February 2015, with construction commencing in April and wrapping up in November. So we would avoid the cold weather on either sides as long as everything went according to plan.
So it's basically a 6 or 7 month project.
That's what they're hoping. The architect even mentioned the timing might work out for us because coming out of the winter, the contractors are looking for work, and it may benefit us.
Now, it did come before town meeting, I think 4 or 5 years ago. It was 5, thank you. And I'd like to go back and look at my notes and perhaps review the tape of the meeting to see what the comments were, the negative comments, which one would you try to overcome at this point.
Correct.
So I suggest a movement be made to that. Now, go ahead, Carol.
That was, it was approved at town meeting, right?
Thank you.
And it was
turned
approved
down.
at town meeting. It was turned down at the town election because we were going to use debt.
Capital exclusion.
Capital exclusion, yes, capital exclusion, right. But the town meeting vote was positive.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you for that. Now, another aspect that I think is very important is, beside the presentations that you make to warrant and capital and ours this evening, and what other group wants to talk about this with you, I believe there should be a very forthcoming so-called marketing plan for this, to open it up to the townspeople in different forms.
Sure.
And we will probably, after discussion, vote on whether we approve this project or support this project going forward. But I would like to have one selectman work with the chief directly in his efforts to market and be the face of the selectmen in this, if we support it. And I probably, my time is too divided right now, and I know, Carol, you have a couple things going on. Robin, could you do
I
that?
certainly can. So
Okay, good.
I'll contact you, Chief, and if this is approved, and we can set up some
Great.
meetings and.
You know, the newspaper articles, perhaps a cable show, or whatever the case may be. I think it's very important for the townspeople to realize how important this is for you to do your work correctly, and how antiquated that whole area is, more importantly, yes. Good.
Yeah, because I think even though there might be 18, 22 walk-ins a day, it's, the vast majority of citizens probably have never stepped foot in the police station.
I find that a lot. Every time I have someone come in for a meeting, they say, oh, it's my first time been here.
Yeah.
I've lived in town for 45 years, I've never been in the building.
Right. The good news is, but,
Right. Not a customer,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, because otherwise I think people will just focus on the price tag.
Right.
And not understand, you know, why it's being done and what the need is.
I always put things, I break it down sometimes when I think about my own house in a situation like this, and I'm replacing the electricity and the plumbing that are in the wall, so to speak, and maybe some painting, and no one's ever gonna see that.
Right.
It's not glitzy, so you really have to start explaining why it's important, rather than a piece of machinery that's huge and bright colored and you can see it all the time. This is gonna take a little more of an effort than sort of just a warrant, a special request, whether it's through capital or a special warrant article, whatever the case may be. So those are my comments. I'm very familiar with the area. I walked through it 5 years ago. Nothing's changed. So I support this particular request and our, not approval, but our support of this. Will we vote to approve it or to vote to support it?
Vote to approve it if
Thank
you're
you.
so inclined.
Same, I supported it 5 years ago. It's even more necessary now. We as a board have, and the town citizens have been successful in spending the money that needs to be spent and keeping our physical assets, you know, in good shape and meeting the needs. And I think the Carroll Community Center was an example where that did not happen. It wasn't a selectman's responsibility, but the result was pretty clear, and we certainly don't want to get into that situation again. And that building really hasn't had any major upgrades since it was built.
There was the addition put on in '85, I think, and that was the last.
That was it, and the,
Last work
right,
done.
that's, exactly, so antiquated is absolutely, it needs to be done.
Okay.
Well, you know, I actually took the opportunity this fall to walk through the building with the chief and to, while I was waiting for him to witness some of what happens in that dispatcher area. And it was early in the morning, and it is somewhat hectic. And, you know, I too support this renovation. In my mind, I was convinced that it was not a nice to have, rather a need to have, to bring us up to date with technology and laws.
Well, good. Well, I will make the motion then that we vote to approve, as a capital budget item in fiscal 2015, the dispatch area renovations project in the amount of $423,100. Yes.
Do we need to add the,
Did you need to get the?
is said,
Yeah, I would do it as a total, 453. In fact, I would suggest that you round it up or down, 450 or 455, whatever your pleasure.
Oh, the garage bay, thank
Right.
you. I thought that was just for the trailer. I saw the word trailer, so thanks you. So I correct my statement to the amount of $453,100. Do I hear a second? Or did I miss something?
Well, it was requested that perhaps we.
Let me put my glasses on.
455,
455.
Thank you, 455.
just in case it comes in a dollar more.
Okay. Let me again.
Do you want to start over?
yeah, it is the new year.
Thanks, I appreciate that. The dispatch area renovation project for the capital item in fiscal 2015, in the amount of $455,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. May I just ask that before this gets sent over to the capital budget committee, and we're meeting on Monday morning,
Okay,
that to Jim's point, that when it says alternative temporary dispatch, you delete in exterior trailer,
Thank you.
okay.
because that was the confusing thing, right?
And then bring it to 455.
And then bring, yeah, and then bring it to 455. Yeah,
Well, Chief, good luck in this, and it is quite an effort to bring this to fruition because of the nature of it. So, Robin, good luck. Chief, thank you for coming in tonight, and Happy New Year.
Thanks.
I'll be in touch.
Okay. We did have on the agenda item review warrant articles submitted to date. And who can speak to this? Because I do not have a listing.
No, I can't. We will provide you with a full list once the
Right.
warrant closes on January 17th.
Right.
To date, we just give you sort of an informal update. At this time, there are 9 articles or placeholders which have been submitted to the Selectmen's office. The first, as you just heard, was the dispatch reconfiguration project. If in fact the capital budget committee chooses to break it out.
It's actually a selectmen's issue.
Yeah, yeah. And the second is from the Conservation Commission. They are putting in for revisions to their wetland bylaws. They've been working on that, and they're near completion at this time. They've been working in coordination with Town Council. Conservation is also asking to reestablish a conservation trust fund. Several years ago, on an ongoing basis, they had on the warrant an article requesting $25,000 each year for the acquisition and preservation of land for conservation purposes, and they'd like to reestablish that fund, given that they've spent all of their monies on the Chapter 61A
Right,
project
287
recently.
Dedham Street.
Yes,
they use the
that's
funds
right.
this year? Good, thank
Right,
you.
so they've depleted those funds, and they'd like to start, putting more monies into a bank for such a purpose as that. Minuteman High School is asking all of its member towns to put a warrant article on for amendments to the regional agreement that was established for this technical vocational regional school district. It's unclear at this time what exactly those amendments would be. Apparently the recycling committee, Mrs. Lisbon, I understand, is requesting?
Yes, I was at their meeting this morning. They asked me to add to the list for a placeholder. They're going to look at renaming their committee and expanding their charter a bit to reflect the modern approach to recycling and sustainability.
Okay, fine, thank you. Once again, from the Regional School Committee, we have received at this time a notice of intent that they would like to put a warrant article on again this year for capital projects and improvements. This is in keeping with the recent 20-year plan that they have to preventatively and proactively maintain the Regent's assets. I believe you had a presentation on that at the last meeting from one of the school committee members, Mrs. White. The Council on Aging, of course, we're going to put an article on to establish a revolving fund. This was part of your discussion when you were developing your gifts and grants policy, that it would be appropriate to establish a separate fund from the gift fund for monies for things such as transportation, activities, exercise classes where they make nominal contributions, so that those monies are appropriately separated out. The Council on Aging has also sent a request for establishment of a sinking fund. They would like to request $25,000 annually to act on future development. So it's sort of open-ended. If they wanted to do a feasibility study for a separate senior center, for example, that was the example I was given, that they would have monies available to them. And lastly, the medical marijuana statute has been clarified, and towns are now required to cite a dispensary location in the event that there is a dispensary put into each town. So we have to, I believe the planning board is working on making a recommendation on a location for that. And that's it. But we still have until the 17th, so people.
I also have a note, I sort of keep an ongoing list too, that it's not a new warrant because you already have a supplemental appropriation warrant, but we do have that Minuteman appropriation that will probably be a supplemental. Remember the minimum contribution of the, where am I here? No, it wasn't Minuteman, it was the region?
The region.
It was the region, I'm sorry, the region. The
That
region.
would be under that supplemental
Yeah, yeah.
appropriation.
Right, okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Greer. Just as a follow-up very quickly, in the medical marijuana, when is the planning board, do they have a time frame when they're going to make recommendations?
Dave, have you spoken to Gino about that?
They will comply with the statutory requirements that they have to have something ready and on file with the town clerk and a public hearing X number of days prior to town meeting, but beyond that, they don't have a specific deadline for
Thank you.
that.
Okay, so of the 9 warrant articles to date, we have 1, 2, 4 that are monetary and the other one bylaw changes. No, 5. No, that was correct. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay.
3. Yes.
Does Concom want to go back to the 25,000? Is that what they're asking for?
That's correct. And when I asked their administrative assistant, she said she believed that that was on a recurring basis. They had not specified that, but she thinks that that was their intent.
Okay.
Good. I think I was pretty much made aware of all of these prior to this evening, so thank you. Anxiously awaiting Minuteman's amendments to the regional agreement. And the medical marijuana language would be interesting too.
So,
Okay.
Robin, have you had started, you had a meeting, I think, with
We've
Ford?
gone back and forth
Okay.
on dates, but
Okay.
I think we're solidified.
Okay, 'cause
dates
that's
for
probably-
next week. Right.
I mean, if they're going to proceed with the reconstruction, they have to have the agreement amended. So it's probably what the placeholder
The
is.
reconstruction, the physical asset reconstruction, absolutely,
So-
because they need the 16 member towns to say yes.
Or they need to give the 16-member towns a way to remove themselves.
Right.
Right. So,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you, Robin, for that. I look forward to that update.
So do I.
Okay, let's move on. We have a disclosure of financial interest by a special municipal employee this evening. And now, Dave, agree, you want to start the conversation?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman.
Please.
The fire department would like to hire Robert Morrissey as a call firefighter. He is currently also a highway department employee. Under state law, for that to happen, that he can have 2 jobs with one town, the hiring authority, in this case Chief Hughes, must certify that he's going to appoint him and that there's nobody else who can do the work, and the Board of Selectmen has to approve that under the law.
Okay.
Doesn't our highway contract, aren't a lot of our highway employees
Some are.
on call?
And the contract specifically provides for that, but for the employee to actually get hired,
We have to do this?
Have to do this.
Okay, I see.
Okay. So, I should read this, selectman motion?
please.
Right, and the individual in question, okay, so I have it right here, thank you. Okay, I'll make the motion to approve pursuant to General Law, Chapter 268A, Section 20F, the request of the fire chief to exempt Robert Morrissey's interest in a call firefighter position from the prohibition of Mass General Law, Chapter 268A, Section 20, and to authorize Robert Morrissey to serve as a call firefighter under the direction of the fire chief, provided that the fire chief first certifies to the town clerk that the services to be provided by Robert Morrissey as a call firefighter cannot be performed by a current fire department employee as part of his or her regular duties.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, as we move along, on to other business on the agenda. The annual town report is due soon, and we're going to review the draft. And thank you, this is quite extensive. Thank you, Dave, thank you, Graham.
You're welcome.
This includes the edits that I had sent in,
I
Yes.
believe so.
Okay.
Everybody's
It does.
edits have been incorporated.
okay, and Robin's?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a calendar year town report, it's not a fiscal, which I remember first couple times reading this, I was wondering what was going on. So, I actually look forward to
Typo
the
here. IRS needs to be capitalized.
annual town
Get that.
report every year. I do see on page 3, in the 3rd paragraph,
Yep.
question mark that has to be answered.
Once the town report is put together, we'll know what page
Page,
you're going to
thank you.
place, yeah, that report
It's a
on.
placeholder.
Yeah.
Litigation seems to be down this year.
Yes.
So the trust, the Salt Marsh Trust, is that done?
There's actually, it's slated for trial in Plymouth Superior Court Thursday. The land court, as you recall, the land court was waiting for the lower court to determine whether or not an expired purchase and sale agreement had any validity, irrespective of standing. Hopefully Plymouth will decide expired purchase and sale agreement is an expired purchase and sale agreement, it has no value at all, and then the land court's decision is easy.
So how come it's not shown here as active litigation?
Because it's not town councils, it's special councils. So we probably should add it.
Yeah, that's a distinction that I
Yes.
think is irrelevant to town, for citizens' information, right?
Yep.
Then you'd have to change the verbiage,
Yeah.
but, you know,
We
say
will.
Krieger also.
Yes.
Also, a little nit on page 4, bullet regarding the select the IRS audit. In the middle of the paragraph, it says the IRS resulted in the the audit resulted, the IRS in that should be
Yeah.
kept.
Thank
Yep,
you, yes,
yep.
Mrs. Lisbon pointed that out to me. Thank you, thank you.
4, 5, 6.
Yep, we'll
In the
get that
sixth
changed.
line, in the middle of the line, is ANS, I believe it should be AND. See that? Same paragraph.
6,
1, 2,
yes, I do. Thank you. Between town accountant and treasurer. One line above the IRS that's in lowercase. Okay.
So are there any other active litigation other than Salt Marsh that's outside of, no, that's it.
No, that's
So we're down to 4?
This is a new year, however.
I don't know.
We have Here, the union matters in here, yep, there we go, thank you. Okay. How do we act on this, Dave, if we do it all? We're gonna make some
Prepared
changes?
to approve it, can approve it, make amendments and then approve it as amended.
So the litigation will change to add one more case. We will delete the, or add to Anderson Krieger and also add special counsel. Add special counsel here. By name,
I'll consult Anderson Krieger to see how they want to do it.
okay? Make the change in a couple of typos, and we'll add the page number once we know what the Rail Trail Committee report is going to be. Other than that, I don't see any other changes.
No, I think it's a great summary of a very busy year.
Yeah. Okay, then I'll make the motion to accept the draft town report with the changes we just spoke of.
So moved?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
And if I may, Mr. Chairman, I'd
Yes.
like to thank the board for its gracious thanks of the office staff during the year. I appreciate that very much.
You're quite welcome, Dave. Yeah, I think we all collectively understand where the rubber meets the road. And we get to sit here while you have to do all the dirty work, so thank you, thank you very much.
Thank you.
On to the next agenda item, which is the MIIA draft, nominations. And this is the Massachusetts Interlocal Insurance Association. Okay, they have a annual meeting on January 25th, 2014, which I believe is the second day of the MIIA annual meeting. And I don't believe any of us are going to be present at that particular meeting, and will not take a vote rather than nominate. So I don't think I want to act on this, and we'll just put it aside and table it.
Okay.
I do look forward to the annual meeting though, on that Friday. You're coming this year, Robin, aren't you?
I am
Good.
on the calendar.
You're in Dig, obviously. I know we're gonna meet you that day.
Maybe the rest of us will get our pictures.
Just stand by me.
I did.
What can I tell you?
That's good.
Maybe it's a woman thing.
You're in the picture with 4 other guys.
I know, so maybe they needed a woman in a picture.
Twice in a row, though.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, next agenda item, special license. And I believe we have 4 this evening. I'll read them and we can vote on all 4 after the fact. And the first one is January 23rd, 2014, at the Boston College Connor Center. for a birthday party. The second is also on January 23rd at the Mass Hort Society, a fundraising reception. Third,
Did you see there's a snow date? Do you need to do anything with
duly noted, how's that? And the third is January 30th, 2014, at the Connor Center, a bank customer appreciation evening. And last but not least, on February 15th, at the Connor Center, it's a VC faculty social. So I'll make the motion to approve those 4 special licenses, one with a snow date. Do I have a
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next agenda item was to approve the December 19th, 2013 meeting minutes. They are not in the shape that I would entertain to approve them this evening, so if we can defer them to the next meeting, I'd like that, please.
Okay.
Okay, Carol?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. Okay. The next agenda item before citizens' comments. Carol, you have an
Yes.
item?
Yes, thank you. This past spring, after Joe Melican had to resign, and we talked about the election of a chair of the board. We had voted to split it so that you would handle the first half of fiscal year 14 through December, and that I would chair it for the second half, and then continue on next year in my regular term. And I have a very, very unexpectedly busy spring, winter and spring, all good stuff. But I know that I am not going to have the time and the attention that I need as chair. So if you would be so kind as to continue on for another 6 months, I would very, very much appreciate it. And I will promise I will take over July 1st.
And we should add, it's because he's done such a...
And he has done such a stellar job, absolutely.
Oh, when you ask that way, how
Yes,
can I
I
say
know.
no?
And we will try
See-
to get your picture.
There you go. We'll grab the photographer.
Right.
Well, certainly Carol, thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We don't have to act on that, it just continues as is.
No.
Okay,
Great, thank you very much.
thank you.
And good luck with all your
Thank you.
good surprises in
Yeah,
life.
thanks.
Okay, next agenda item is citizens' comments. John, you're a citizen in the crowd this evening?
No.
Okay. I know the warrant committee's work decided tomorrow night on all, number of budgets,
Yes,
first budgets.
yeah, we'll be meeting every Wednesday, well, for the next 6 or 7 weeks, and then a few weeks in February. I think we might be meeting twice a week. I just have a citizen's question. The Board of Selectmen be presenting next week from tomorrow?
Great, question. And Dave, you have to answer that first, then I'll ask the question second. Are we presenting a week from tomorrow?
Well, we have customarily in the last few years gotten all highway, police, and all of our budgets
Yes.
together and gone to the warrant committee together. So if that's a date they would prefer, we can talk with Superintendent Hughes and Chief McGowan, see if they're available for a week from Wednesday, and proceed accordingly.
Did you have us on the agenda in that fashion?
We
Selectmen
have highway, it was basically last year's,
Okay.
although last year's was adjusted in its flexibility. We do have the highway, and we have the planning board. I'm seeing Chief McGowan in the morning, over a week. If that's possible, if that works for your schedule, I think that'd be terrific if.
Yeah, we'd like to consolidate those.
Yeah, absolutely, that would be terrific. So we
Great.
can continue, that really wasn't citizens' comment, but I just snuck that in.
No, no, it's a good question. I meant to ask you later on anyway. So that'll work fine from your end. David, if you follow up with the chief also.
Yep.
To make sure everyone's all set. And so a week from tomorrow night, I know I'll be at that meeting. And Robin, you're going tomorrow,
I
tomorrow.
plan to attend.
Good, thank you.
Some, with my budget.
Okay.
We're gonna review, so I have something to.
As far as citizen comments, are we wrapped up?
I have nothing.
Good. I'll entertain a motion for dismissal.
So moved?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Good night.